Hi, everyone, and a warm welcome back to Mindsprout Books, the channel where we explore holistic self-development through the wisdom of books. Today, I want to share a truly meaningful book with you. It's been translated into over 16 languages and published in nearly 20 countries. More impressively, it's born from one of the most popular courses at Harvard University, a class so sought after that its 1,600 plus students often bring their parents and grandparents to the lectures. The book is Happier by Tal Ben-Shahar. Its core mission is to show us how to achieve lasting satisfaction, boost our happiness levels, and improve our overall quality of life. Drawing on years of research in positive psychology, Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar argues that anyone can learn to achieve long-term happiness and fulfillment through conscious practice and effort. In today's summary, we'll explore two key questions. First, what is happiness, really? And second, what methods can help us achieve it? Let's dive in. So, what exactly is happiness? As a child, author Tal Ben-Shahar was a dedicated squash player with a single dream: to become the national champion. To achieve this, he followed a strict diet and tightly controlled his weight, which meant giving up his absolute favorite food, hamburgers, no matter how intense the craving. He made a vow. The day he won the championship, he would eat 4 burgers in one sitting. Finally, after years of practice, at the age of 18, he became the champion. Feeling on top of the world, he rushed to a burger joint and ordered his celebratory meal. But as the 4 burgers sat in front of him, he felt a sudden emptiness. He ate them all, but felt none of the joy he had imagined. When he got home and saw the trophy on his nightstand, he unexpectedly burst into tears. Why did this happen? The author realized that even after achieving his life's goal, the feeling of happiness was incredibly fleeting. This led him to wonder, how long does happiness actually last? Haunted by this question, he understood that becoming a champion hadn't brought the lasting joy he expected. This realization set him on a new path, to understand the nature of human happiness. He went on to earn a PhD in positive psychology from Harvard and developed the theoretical framework shared in this book. In his research, the author studied 2 distinct groups of people. The first group consisted of individuals who had suffered terrible accidents that left them permanently disabled. Psychologists brought them together in a support group and tracked how long it took for their happiness levels to return to their baseline. The results showed that, on average, it took about 1 year for them to rediscover their sense of happiness. The second group was made up of people who had won multi-million-dollar lotteries. They, too, were placed in a group, and their happiness levels were monitored. The findings revealed that, on average, the euphoria of winning the lottery vanished after just 1 month, and their happiness returned to what it was before they won. So, what does this study tell us? Psychologists concluded that happiness is not a fixed state. It doesn't depend on our external circumstances. Rather, happiness is a capacity we can cultivate. Now imagine this. You inherit a fortune, billions, all tax-free and legally obtained. You have the perfect career, high social standing, and the respect of your community. You're in perfect health, blessed with good looks, and have a loving partner to share your life with. If you had all of this, would it be the definition of a perfect, happy life? The author's answer is a firm no. Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar points out that no matter how perfect someone's conditions are, if they lack the capacity to feel happiness, they will never be able to sustain it. Studies show that many wealthy individuals die by suicide, not because their lives are bad, or because they are unhealthy or lonely, but because they have lost the ability to experience happiness. So what is this capacity to feel happiness? It's our sensitivity to joy. Think about a major holiday from your childhood. Maybe you'd get new clothes, receive gifts, and visit family. You felt pure excitement. But as you grew older, that magic faded, and the holiday might have even become a source of stress. You no longer felt the same joy. This is because your capacity to feel happiness has diminished. In truth, the opposite of happiness isn't sadness, it's numbness. 2 years ago, I stayed with a friend for a while. Her charming little house sat on the edge of a tranquil lake. Every morning, I'd open the window to watch the brilliant sun rise, its gentle golden light sparkling on the water, surrounded by lush green mountains and the sound of chirping birds. The air was incredibly fresh, free from smog and city noise. Every breath felt like it filled my lungs with a sense of peace, joy, and an indescribable calm. I thought to myself, people who live here must be truly happy. But when I shared this with the neighbors and my friends' parents, they mostly replied that they'd lived there for decades and it all just seemed normal to them. This is a classic sign of becoming numb to happiness. When a person loses the capacity to feel joy, they have fallen into the opposite state of happiness, living apathetically, like a machine. If you don't notice that your sensitivity to joy is fading, then no matter how wonderful your external conditions are, you will never feel truly happy. In fact, you might easily find yourself feeling miserable over the smallest things. The source of true happiness lies in the process of achieving or experiencing something. It's the joy you can feel right here, right now. Therefore, we must consciously train our ability to feel happiness. So, how can we do that? This brings us to the method for achieving true happiness. In his book, the author introduces a model based on 4 quadrants of happiness, defined by our focus on the present and the future. The first type is the hedonist, who lives for immediate gratification. These are people driven by instant pleasure, such as those addicted to drugs, video games, social media, or shopping. Any excessive, compulsive behavior shows a loss of self-control and a singular focus on short-term joy. They feel happy and satisfied only when they indulge themselves immediately. But are these people truly happy? The answer is no, because while they experience pleasure in the present, it leads to misery in the future. A life of unchecked, limitless indulgence will never lead to a positive long-term outcome. The second type is the nihilist, who feels unhappy in the present. These are people who can't enjoy the present moment and have no clear goals for the future. They simply drift through life. This mindset is rooted in what the book calls learned helplessness. For example, trainers in Thailand can control massive elephants with nothing more than a small stake in the ground. Why? Because when the elephants were young, they were tied to these stakes. The baby elephant would struggle but couldn't break free. After a week of trying, it would give up. From then on, the mere sight of the stake convinced it that escape was impossible. It had learned to be helpless. We humans experience this too. Think of the wife who resents her unhelpful husband, the husband annoyed by his nagging wife, people stuck in tense family conflicts, children suffocated by their parents' expectations, or parents heartbroken by their rebellious children. All of these are examples of learned helplessness. They become nihilists when they complain and feel miserable, but ultimately accept their situation, doing nothing to change it. They fail to create change because they focus on the wrong target. They always want other people to change. But the truth is, we can't change anyone else. The only person we can change is ourselves. When we change, everything around us changes too. Next is the rat racer, who sacrifices the present for a happy future. This is a very common mindset. These are the people who believe that to achieve future goals, all present efforts are a worthy sacrifice. Their motto is, no pain, no gain, and they endure present hardship for the promise of future happiness. They think, if only I make my first million, I'll be happy. If only I buy a house, I'll have peace. If only I could travel the world, my life would be complete. If only my kid gets into a top university, I'll be overjoyed. If only I can get through today's deadline, I can finally relax. What happens to these people in 5, 10, or 20 years? Are they truly happy? The author argues that anyone caught in the rat race will never find true happiness, because no one who finally reaches a long sought-after goal feels a lasting sense of peace or joy. Often, what follows is a feeling of emptiness. The expectation that changing our external world will change our internal state is simply unrealistic. The rat race is the default mode for much of society today, largely because our materialistic culture and education system have molded us this way. Think back to your school days. You carried the weight of your parents' and teachers' expectations to get good grades. You hauled heavy backpacks, studied day and night, and spent weekends in extra classes. Year after year, you grew up setting one new goal after another, all for a competitive spot in a top university. You finally get in, but before you can even catch your breath, you have to strive for a good job. You enter the real world, thinking you can finally enjoy life, only to find yourself under constant pressure, chasing one goal after another, relentlessly. We get busy believing in the work hard now, be happy later mantra. But does it really bring happiness? Each time we achieve something, there's a brief moment of joy, but it's quickly drowned out by new tasks and new worries. This lifestyle traps us in a painful cycle of endless goals and constant striving. This is the biggest trap of the human condition. Look around you. You'll be surprised to find that many of those model students or perfect employees, the ones who seem to have it all, are not truly happy. At least, not as happy as we imagine. Why? Because we become so focused on the outcome that we forget to enjoy the journey. We chase grand goals, thinking that achieving them will bring us joy, while ignoring our feelings in the present moment. As a result, what we call happiness is often just a temporary relief from stress and anxiety. These fleeting moments of pleasure are not true happiness. The author calls them an illusion of happiness. So, who are the people who experience true happiness? They are the ones who are happy in the present and happy in the future. For them, the key to a happy future is the ability to sustain happiness now. But what does that mean? Do you ever find yourself reminiscing about your youth? Can we go back? Of course not. We can't relive the past, and we can't jump into the future. The only place we can ever be is right here, in the present moment. If you can't find joy in the present because your mind is stuck regretting the past or dreaming of the future, then this very moment becomes a form of suffering, and you miss it completely. Have you ever been consumed with anxiety about an upcoming exam? Have you ever felt poor, looking at others with their nice houses and fancy cars, and felt an urgent need to make more money to have that life? Have you ever felt lonely and sad seeing others in loving relationships? Or have you felt frustrated and angry when others don't understand you or act against your wishes? If so, your mind is immediately pulled into the past, the future, or external expectations. In that instant, you miss the present moment, the joy of the process, and the sense of wholeness that already exists within you. However, this doesn't mean you should abandon all your ambitions. A life without goals leads back to nihilism. The key is to understand that you can have goals and desires. You can want an expensive car, a big house, or to travel the world. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem arises when your desires become excessive, when you become attached to a specific outcome in the future. That's when fear and pressure creep in. And when things don't go your way, you feel immense disappointment and pain because your expectations were too high. The author emphasizes that true happiness is a combination of pleasure and meaning. Pleasure represents the present moment, while meaning comes from a purpose that benefits the future. In other words, you work towards the future while simultaneously enjoying the process. As a great quote from the movie Soul puts it, "A spark isn't a soul's purpose. Our purpose is to live." So how do we avoid becoming slaves to our future goals? First, re-examine your life's purpose. A meaningful goal must be self-chosen. It should be about realizing your own values, not about pleasing others or meeting societal standards. When we think of purpose, we often think of our careers. Psychologists identify 3 attitudes toward work: seeing it as a job, a career, or a calling. For some, work is just a job, a means to an end. They're not fully invested, and beyond a paycheck, all they look forward to is the next holiday. Others see their work as a career. Beyond money, they seek professional growth, power, and prestige. They are motivated by promotions and opportunities to advance. The third group sees their work as a calling. For them, work itself is the ultimate goal. They do it not because they have to, but because they want to. Even if the conditions are tough, the pay is low, or there's no high status, they are passionate and constantly seek to improve themselves through their work. Only those in the third group can align their work with their life's purpose. They can easily enjoy the process. When you strive for your own values and your own calling, your daily life becomes rich and joyful. This is the path that brings true, lasting happiness. So how do you find work that's right for you? Dr. Ben-Shahar suggests the MPS method: M for meaning, P for pleasure, and S for strength. Ask yourself 3 questions. What is meaningful to me? What brings me pleasure? What are my strengths? Answer these questions by recalling moments that gave you a sense of purpose. Write down activities that make you feel joyful, engaged, and able to achieve a state of flow. Then find the intersection of your answers. This method can help you find your path. It may not lead to the highest paying job, but it can lead you to a job that brings you happiness. Once you have this self-awareness, the third step is to recraft your job. Ask yourself, am I happy with my current job? What could I do to make it more enjoyable? Am I doing this for money, for others' expectations, or for my own passion and calling? Based on your situation, you can make changes on a macro or micro level. A macro change is a big decision, like quitting your job to find one that is more fulfilling, meaningful, and enjoyable. A micro change means you don't have to leave your current job, but you can make small adjustments. For example, find more meaning in your daily tasks. Increase the time you spend on activities you enjoy and are good at. Set clearer goals. Seek out new challenges in routine tasks to achieve a state of flow, or ask to join new projects that excite you. Finally, before making any change, consider whether your actions might infringe upon another person's right to pursue happiness. If you hurt others to reach your goals, you are slowly destroying your own happiness. Happiness is not about pure self-sacrifice, nor is it about sophisticated selfishness. No one is an island, and true happiness can only flourish on a foundation of harmony and symbiosis with the world around us. That is the method for achieving true happiness, a combination of mindfulness in the present. Finally, I want to share a piece of advice from my own experience. Start by simplifying your life. Practice subtraction. Let go of the goals that leave you no time for yourself, the ones that prevent you from spending at least an hour a day in quiet reflection or meditation. Let go of the trivial tasks that keep you constantly busy and the fleeting pleasures that pull you away from genuine joy. Make a conscious decision to cut back on these things. As psychologist Tim Kasser says, time affluence is a better predictor of happiness than material affluence. So, protect your time for what is truly meaningful and joyful to you. Say no to time-wasting activities like aimless scrolling, binge-watching, or imposing unrealistic expectations on yourself and others. Let go of the chase for money and fame, and turn your focus toward intrinsic goals that bring you real joy and meaning. Our lives may have many goals, like mountains to conquer, but on the journey, we can always enjoy every step. The joy is in the climb, and the joy is in the descent. When you learn to find joy in every step, the photo album of your life will be filled with happy memories instead of painful regrets. And that is the secret to a truly happy and lasting life. I hope we are all ready to embark on the journey back to the present moment to become the masters of our own futures. Thank you for listening. If you found this video helpful, please share it with others who might need it. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to catch our new videos every week. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.